Hey there, I'm Dr. Dave. Welcome to Microdose U. This is going to be a great episode today. So I'm going to share with you why these online psilocybin shops are just exploding and what you can do, where you can find your medicine, etc. I've been microdosing now for about 4.5 years. And like you, if you're on a microdosing journey or more, we have to find a good, reliable place to purchase the medicine. I don't grow my medicine. I don't want to be involved with growing. I just don't really have the time, and I don't have the interest in growing. So that's that. And I want to be able to buy from reliable. And really, just a few years ago, if somebody tried to put up a psilocybin shop online, it probably wouldn't last long before being taken down. But fast forward to today, there are so many of these sites, it's almost impossible to keep track of them. The reality is the government and the enforcement agencies, they've got bigger things to do. They've got higher priorities than to worry about these, in my opinion, these psilocybin shops online. It takes a lot of resources to chase them down. And when there are hundreds, maybe even thousands popping up all over the place, I think and again, this is just my opinion, but I think for the authorities, it's just not worth it. Combine that with the fact that microdosing has gone more mainstream. More and more people are really curious, and the demand for psilocybin has never been higher. So you got the perfect storm now for these online stores to not just exist, but to thrive. And I've noticed such a big difference from when I first started microdosing well over 4 years ago. Well, back then, finding anything online was pretty difficult. Not impossible, but pretty difficult. Everything was very heavily password protected. These sites were tough to find, tough to get into. But now it feels like mushroom stores are everywhere. But here's the thing. That does not mean that every one of these online stores is good, or that you should automatically trust them just because they're online and they look official. Some are straight up ripoffs. Some will leave you wondering about the quality of the product. And there are just so many variables out there. If you're going to be purchasing your medicine online, you've got to know exactly which store to go to. Otherwise, you're rolling the dice with your health and with your money and your safety and experience. So I'm going to answer a whole lot of questions actually today that I've been holding about online shops, psilocybin, purchasing, sourcing, etc. I've got a lot of good questions. So before I do that, I want to do a little reality check about what you're looking out for online if you're browsing for mushroom stores. Because yes, there are a lot of them, and not all of them are good. And some could be flat out dangerous to your wallet and to your health. Now, something really important before we get into these questions. A couple episodes ago, I talked about where to buy magic mushrooms. And I was very forthright with you. I shared with you where not to buy them. But I also told you that in a public forum like this, a public podcast, my website, Facebook, things like that, I can't share links of the stores that I trust, I've got experience with, and I like. I can't share those. And I'll say this again. The reason is because if we make this totally public out there, I could get in trouble. The stores themselves, they could get in trouble. They can get shut down. And I just don't want to take the chance. So that's just one of the reasons I started this Patreon group about a year and a half ago or so. In our Patreon group, we talk about the online shops that work for us. Our Patreon group is like one really nice family. We all help each other out. It is a paid platform. And that's why I think the privacy is a lot better, and we can talk about things that we want to talk about privately. We all agree with each other there, since we're like kind of one really cool family. We agree with each other that nothing that we talk about, whether it's in a live meeting that we do every couple weeks or on our WhatsApp platform that we share, we promise each other that we're not going to be sharing anything outside of Patreon. Again, I have to do it this way because it keeps some privacy and some security intact. So it's just not available for everyone in the public just to go on and quickly look at it and then get off of it. And then who knows what they're going to do with it. I don't want that. And yeah, some people think that I'm being greedy because I'm only revealing this information to people that pay, but it's not the greed. It's not the money. It's that we need to keep this very, very safe. And the people that put a little bit of money into this, and I keep it very inexpensive, but the people that put a little bit of money into this, we feel that they've got something invested and they're trustworthy, and we can share things amongst ourselves in our Patreon family. So the link is always in the show notes. The link is always on my website, microdoseu.com. As a matter of fact, after the last episode I did on where to buy mushrooms in 2025, 2026, we've had a tremendous influx of new members. And this group is just, I can't explain or describe how great this Patreon group is. It really, really feels like a family that we all help each other out. So I invite you to join if you think it's for you. Again, no pressure. Again, we just talk about things there that we just can't talk about anywhere else. Now, getting back to the differences that I see from when I first started microdosing magic mushrooms about 4.5 years ago to now, I've noticed things like scammer sites look legit. That's a little scary because you can go on a website and it can look really, really legit to you, but it could be a scammer site. Some stores are run by people who just are out to rip you off. They take your money, you get nothing, or you get junk, and it's a total ripoff, and it's dangerous. Some sites have inferior or inconsistent products. Just because a site sends you something doesn't mean it's quality, doesn't mean it's good. Weak potency, poor storage, or even mislabeled products, they're all out there, and you have to be super, super careful. Some of these sites I've seen have rip-off pricing. They take advantage of the hype, and they take advantage of people that don't know where else to get the product, and they just rip you off at prices. Sometimes I've seen it double what it should be. And if you don't mind paying double, I mean, that's okay. But these are the kind of things we do talk about on our Patreon group. Some of these sites, or one in particular that I can think of, is actually even disguised as a mushroom church. I won't talk about that right now because reading through the questions that have come in, somebody actually asked about that, so I'm going to answer that just very shortly about that mushroom church. So yes, please be careful. Online mushroom shops are exploding, but you've got to be super vigilant. Don't assume that every site you see is trustworthy just because it looks polished. This is medicine that you're ingesting, and it's not something that you can gamble with. Now, having said that, let's get into some of the real questions you've sent to me about this explosion of online mushroom shops. And actually, before I get into your questions, let me welcome, we got some like I said, after that last episode, a bunch of brand new members in our Patreon group. So let me just welcome them just by first name. Again, we try to keep things super confidential. Welcome to our Patreon family, Jeff, Ryan, Deb, Ranrad, Alvin, Miles, Celia, Ashley, John, Trish, Christina, Shannon, John, Hal, Chepe, Gustavo, Bells, David, Emery. Thank you all. Thank you so much for being part of our Patreon family, which is growing and getting better and better. I would say every single day for sure. Okay, let's get into the questions that you ask from Mark T. Oh, here's the question I was referring to from Mark T. I joined a quote unquote mushroom church. I won't give the exact name of this just to protect this church, but we'll just call it a mushroom church online where she sells psilocybin, but I feel like I'm getting ripped off. Are you familiar with it? Mark, yes, if it's the same one we're talking, I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same one. Yes, I'm familiar with it. Personally, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I think it's, number one, very expensive. Not only that, the leader, let's call it the leader of the church, of that mushroom church, for lack, I don't know, lack of a better term, she requires everybody to send a tithe, which, send a certain amount of money in every month just to support the church, which I take that to mean supporting her pocketbook. Again, if people want to do it, I can't say there's anything inherently wrong with it, but this is really not a true church. It's really just a online mushroom store disguised as a church where I think she's making a ton of money by people sending her money. And again, I'm not against making money. I'm a capitalist. I mean, I'm not against that. I'm not against somebody having a business, free enterprise. However, when you're charging an extra, like a large amount of money for something that on the open market shouldn't be that expensive, I've got a little issue with that because some of these people, I think, are naive. They're joining this church. They're tithing every month, sending in a lot of money, buying the product, which I think is also inflated. And again, if they want to do that, it's okay, but we have better ways to do it. We have better ways to do it, and that's what I'll say about that one, Mark. So yeah, are you getting ripped off? In my opinion, you're paying way, way, way too much. If that's a ripoff, then you can be the judge of that. Matthew Strensky 8243 says his question is just, wow, that was a 22-minute long ad, referring to my previous episode on where can you buy magic mushrooms in 2025 and 2026. Well, again, I feel there are some people who just think it's one big ad when I talk about the Patreon. However, I set it up for a reason, to keep everyone safe. Everyone's safe. So if you think that's an ad, so be it. You can feel however you want, but talk to the people that are actually in the Patreon family. We do a live meeting every couple weeks, and I don't think they would look at it as an ad. I think they would look at this as something that has really, really helped their lives. I hear it every day from them. So again, people would think whatever they want. If who was it, Matthew? If you think it was a long advertisement, that's your prerogative. Again, I still love you. You can think whatever you want. Next question. Are the psilocybin websites actually legal businesses, or are they still underground operations? Great question. That's from Curious in Denver. I don't know. I mean, I think it all depends on, forget about what they're selling. I think it all depends on how they set it up. If you set it up as like a regular a corporation, a sole proprietorship, an LLC, it could be a real business. Yeah, I mean, I think it can be a true business. Now, again, if they're running out of an area where it's legal in that area, I think, in my opinion, I think it's fine. Who they're shipping to, again, that's none of my business, and I don't know the law on that one. So, but these can be, they can be real businesses, real legal businesses. Absolutely, yes. Next question from Urban Watcher 77. If these sites are so visible, why aren't the feds shutting them down? Well, it's a really good question also. And I think what I was trying to say in my kind of opening monologue, if that's what we want to call it, opening monologue, I feel like I'm one of these late night TV guys, then in my opinion, there are too many of them. And I don't think they've got the resources, or since it's becoming so mainstream now, I don't think they've got the resources or just want to spend the resources on going after these, because, again, one will, if they shut one down, probably 5 more are going to open up. So I think they may be, and again, only my opinion, they realize that it's kind of a losing battle. They just can't keep shutting these things down. It's impossible, because they're going to just open up a different website, different name, and they'll be in business again. So I don't know. That's my opinion. Next question from Lisa H. How are people paying for mushrooms online? Aren't payment processors usually strict? Yeah, another really good question, because are these credit card processors, are they allowing this? Well, they don't necessarily know the product. You sign up for something like, what is it, Square as your credit card processor. I don't think they're like asking you exactly what you're selling. And and probably you can just say, I'm selling I'm selling chocolates. I don't know. But I don't think it's really up to the credit card processors to be asking what's being sold. I don't think they necessarily do that. But yeah, really, really good question. Here's another one that's really good, but from Quietly Curious. If I order mushrooms online, is my name going to be in some database somewhere? And am I going to get in trouble down the road? Is your name going to be in a database? I guess that depends on how the owner of the mushroom shop or whoever's working it. That's how they keep their records. I can tell you again another reason to be with us on Patreon, because we've vetted the sources and the online shops that we recommend. We vetted them, and all of our people use them. And they've been very, very, very safe. I mean, I've been, using them for 4+ years. So we know they're safe. If your name's in some kind of database somewhere, it's probably going to be one name in like millions. So I wouldn't be too concerned. I mean, if somebody wants to find something out, they can. I guess if somebody wants to find out that if in the past, let's say I ordered mushrooms from some company, I guess if they do enough work, I guess they can figure it out, but I'm not really that concerned. Next question from Samantha. What role has the microdosing trend played in fueling the growth of online mushroom stores? Well, quite a bit. It's fueled the growth because everywhere you look now, people are talking about microdosing psychedelics for their mental health. Again, when I started my personal journey about 4.5 years ago, it was not as common. Most people didn't even know what it was. But fast forward 4.5 years, many people, because of all the articles, YouTube videos, everything out there, people talking about it, even doctors talking about it now. Many more people know about microdosing magic mushrooms, microdosing LSD, microdosing, other psychedelics for mental health. So it's really out there. So yes, this knowledge, this vast knowledge that's growing and growing and growing has absolutely helped fuel the online store boom. For sure, no question about it. But again, just because a store's online does not mean it's good and reliable. Just please keep that in mind. Very, very important. Next question I've seen, it's from Nature Seeker 44. I've seen Amanita muscaria mushrooms being sold online. Are those being sold by the same sites that sell psilocybin? That's a really interesting question because Amanita muscaria is legal in almost all areas. I believe in the state of Louisiana here in the U.S. it's not, but in the other 49 states it's totally legal. And to compare it to, and I'm going to do a whole episode on this, guys, but to compare it to psilocybin, it's got some similar properties. It does help with mental health issues, but some of the properties are different. You won't really, if you take a lot of it, you won't go on a psychedelic trip per se, but you can be very, very dreamy and calm and relaxed, and but you don't want to take too much of anything. That's the bottom line. But if you do some research on the mushroom Amanita muscaria, you will come across probably somebody writing that this is a poisonous mushroom. And I believe there's been one death reported from somebody ingesting Amanita muscaria. I think it's a fairly safe mushroom. I do microdose with it sometimes. But here's the most important thing. It has to be sourced properly. Again, it's the way it's grown, the way it's processed, the way it's packaged. Everything is super, super important to give you something that's very safe for you. So I personally would not just buy Amanita muscaria from somebody that I did not know, and because I don't know how they're sourcing it. I don't know how it's being grown. I don't know how it's being processed. And that is the most important thing. So getting back to the online shops that we have vetted, that we recommend. One of them in particular does carry Amanita muscaria. That's where I get mine from. I totally trust it. But again, I can't give the link in public because she also sells psilocybin on her site. So again, I've got to be super careful. But again, if you want to do the research and find it on your own, no pressure. By the way, I talk about it, but I will never pressure anybody to joining our Patreon. I don't need to. The people that want to join find us naturally, organically, and it works out really well. And I'll say something else about it. I am not looking for people that want to jump in for a month, grab all the information they can, and then jump out. That's not what we're looking for. When I say we're one big family, I really, really mean it. We know each other. We help each other. We're there for the long term, and we're not there to help people that are just jumping in, jumping out real quickly. So again, can you do it? Yeah, I mean, there's no safeguard to stop somebody from joining for a month and then quitting. However, we don't encourage it, and it's not really good karma to be doing that in our Patreon. We are a family. We're not come out of there, and we just support each other. Okay, so coincidentally, here's another question about Amanita from Jessica M. Since Amanita is technically legal in most places, does that make it a safer entry point for people that are new to mushrooms? Really good question again, and yes and no. Safer because it is legal. Unsafe because if you get a bad batch or from somebody that doesn't know how to grow it or source it or process it, then it could be bad. It could be a big problem. So yes, if you're really concerned about the legality, then Amanita could be a good place to start. I believe in it. I microdose with it sometimes for sure. Also for people that might be traveling, again, this is not legal advice at all, but for some people that might be traveling and are afraid to travel with psychedelics, with magic mushrooms, psilocybin, Amanita could be a good alternative because, again, it is legal unless you're traveling to Louisiana. I don't know why Louisiana is the only state that is not legal, but that seems a little crazy, but it's not legal there. Are they really doing anything to bust people? I don't know. My guess is probably no, but I know Amanita muscaria is not legal in Louisiana. Next question from David C. Are buyers actually getting consistent quality from these online shops, or is it hit or miss? Again, getting back to what I said, if you don't know the shop, even though it looks like an official website, it looked good, it's polished, that does not guarantee good quality. It does not guarantee that you're not going to get ripped off. So just be careful. So no, it doesn't just because something's online does not guarantee that it's going to be good. Next question from Next Wave Nomad. What do you think happens if one of the big mushroom websites suddenly gets taken down? Will others just pop up? That's what we've been talking about. And it's kind of like, it reminds me of that, what's that, the whack-a-mole game, that whack-a-mole, you whack one mole and then like two other ones pop up immediately somewhere else. So I think that's why they're not really going after them as aggressively as maybe they used to in the old days, because you just can't. I think it's something maybe they've realized. And again, totally my opinion. I don't really have evidence of this at all, but they probably realize that they just can't stop this online because, you get rid of one and probably 5 more are going to pop up. You get rid of 10, 100 more are going to pop up. So I think they just need to spend the resources somewhere else. But I just don't think they care as much as maybe they used to. And that's good for us, actually, because I think it is a lot safer to buy these products online than it's ever been. And I think it's only going to get better and better. Wow, I hope this helped you. Again, I know I've done 2 episodes kind of close to each other on sourcing, on where to buy magic mushrooms, on why these stores are exploding all over the place. But I feel it's my job, it's my duty to inform you, because it's probably one of the most commonly asked questions I get almost every single day. Dr. Dave, where can I buy magic mushrooms? Or another way to word that question is, Dr. Dave, I found these mushrooms on this website. Can you tell me if this looks good? And I can't tell. I can't tell you unless we've actually vetted them. I can't tell you whether something's good or not. That church website, I personally would stay away from that one. But you will get a product, I can tell you that, but it's just not, you're going to get ripped off. It's going to be expensive, I'll tell you that. I don't think you need to be spending all that money. I do a brand new episode every Wednesday. We're on YouTube, we're on Apple, we're on Spotify. Where else are we? Pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. That's where we are, both video and audio formats. If you haven't gone to my website yet, it's microdoseu.com. Right back there, if you're watching me on YouTube, with no space, microdoseu.com. It's microdose with the letter U on the end of it. .com. Got a lot of good links, a lot of good resources. We got a 5-part beginner's microdose course. There's all kind of really good stuff if you check out the show notes in the podcast you're listening to, or go to my website. And for those of you who are just not sure where to start, you don't have the confidence, you don't want to do this on your own, we do offer one-on-one coaching, one-on-one private confidential coaching at Microdose U. Again, just check the website out or the show notes. It's all there. You'll find it somewhere. I do try to answer your questions on practically every episode. So if you have questions, send them in. We'll get to them. I promise at some point we'll get to your questions. Sometimes I get a lot at one time, so I just try to do my best. And as I say at the end of every single episode, I do love you, and I really appreciate that you are here with me. You've got probably a lot of choices out there. The fact that you just spent the last, 20, 30 minutes with me, from my heart, I really appreciate it. So I am Dr. Dave. This is Microdose U. Talk to you next week.